everyone, Kaylee here. So we're going to skip our collaboration today and instead talk about how you can keep your hair healthy in the shower, because without knowing it, I think a lot of people actually damage their hair in the shower because we just don't think about it. And I like to think about things, especially when it comes to hair, way too much. We wash our hair, every day, every other day, every couple days, whatever. It's fairly often. We probably wash our hair more than we do anything else to it, so we want to make sure that we're doing that properly. So I have some tips and tricks. Some of these you might have heard before, some of these you might not have. So just stick through the whole video. I think they're all pretty good and I hope you guys enjoy it. First of all, you want to make sure to detangle your hair before you get into the shower. And the reason for that is that your hair is a lot more fragile when it's wet. And so whenever you go into the shower, if you go in with tangly hair and then you get more tangles in the shower and then you come out and you go to brush through your hair while it's wet, you're going to break a lot more hair than you would have if you had just went ahead and detangled it beforehand. Breakage leads to a lot of trouble growing your hair long because you're constantly breaking it. It also adds to little flyaways that you might have throughout your hair and split ends. So you want to avoid breakage as much as possible. A great way to do that is to go ahead and detangle your hair before the shower. Second of all, you always want to think about the heat of your shower, because the heat of the water on your hair can actually damage your hair as well. And we don't always think about that because it's not as hot as a hot tool, clearly. It's not 300-degree water, but it is still warm and it is still used on your hair, usually more often than hot tools are. So it can, over time, cause damage to your hair. The other thing that hot water does is that it raises the cuticle layer of your hair, which is the outside layer of your hair. And basically, don't want to go into all that right now, but whenever the cuticle layer of your hair is raised, your hair is more prone to frizz, it has less shine, it will tangle more easily, and because it's not protecting the inside of your hair anymore like it's supposed to, it leads to loss of elasticity, it leads to increased porosity in the hair, and it leads to color loss. So you basically want to keep that cuticle layer closed. A great way to do that is to make sure that you're not using really, really hot water. Now I know what you're thinking, okay Kaylee, it is impossible to take a cold shower. So what I do instead is I use warm water whenever I'm just washing me, but whenever my hair is under the water, I turn it a little bit colder, and I'll turn it to like lukewarm. I don't go all the way to cold because I'm not that hardcore, but lukewarm at least is going to make sure that you're not putting as much heat on your hair so you don't cause as much damage and you keep the cuticle layer from opening up too much. 3, we're going to talk about how to shampoo your hair, because a lot of people, when they think about getting their hair shampooed, they think about getting the hair clean, and they completely forget about something that's a lot more important than the actual hair. Because let's think about it. Where does oil come from? Where does dead skin build up? Where does dirt get trapped? Where does your hair actually grow from? Your scalp. It's very, very important and we often forget about it. So when you're actually shampooing your hair, that should be the focus of your shampoo, is the scalp and the roots area, because that's where the most of the buildup and the grossness is going to be that you need to get rid of. And then you deal with your ends depending on how much product you use. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the shampoo application and how I really recommend to get your scalp nice and clean is to get your shampoo into your hand, then rub it between 2 hands so then you have it over both hands. Then use one hand to get your shampoo up into your front hairline, use the other hand to get the shampoo into your back hairline. Then you take your fingertips and you kind of make bear claws, and then you just use circular motions until you kind of lather that up and you just scrub your scalp. And I just go ahead and do that until I have all of my front hairline done, and then I move it back until I get to the crown of my head. And then I do the same thing from the bottom to the top. Now that might sound like it's tons and tons of work. It's like a minute and a half. And even just a minute. It doesn't have to be that big of a deal. But the reason why that's good, first of all, you're getting your scalp extra clean, which is great. The second reason why this method is great is that it stimulates blood flow to the scalp. And the reason why that's good is that your blood actually carries all of the essential nutrients that your hair needs to grow healthy and strong. So when you stimulate blood flow, it actually is helping your hair's health. Third, it helps add volume to your hair, because this is where we typically get our hair weighed down. Whenever you have this as free as possible from extra gunk, you're going to have extra volume, which is good because it keeps you from overusing volumizing products and drying out your hair. The fourth benefit is that it doesn't cause tangles. Whenever you just kind of like haphazardly throw shampoo around your hair, you can actually cause a lot more tangles in your hair, which can cause breakage later. So this method is also good because it causes less tangles. When it comes to your ends, if you have dry hair or you don't use a whole lot of products on your hair, you don't really need to pull the shampoo through your ends. You can just allow it to cleanse your hair as you rinse it off, because as it rinses throughout the hair, it will cleanse it. So that's completely fine if that's what you need. If you use products a little bit more like I do, you can go ahead and pull it through your ends. And depending on how much you use, you could like alternate that every other shower. So only pull it through your ends every other shower, just depending on what you need. I do every shower because I use a lot of hair products. So what you do to pull it through your ends is not anything like this, like no rubbing your hair like this, because that's going to rough up the cuticle, it's going to cause frizz, it's going to cause tangles, possibly breakage. You don't want it. So instead what I do is I either just squeeze the bubbles through my hair like this, or I'll put my hair right on top of the bubbles and I'll squeeze like this. Either way, all you really need to do is make sure that your hair is a little bit bubbly. You're not really looking to scrub the hair. It doesn't need to be scrubbed. It just needs to get the soap on it. And that's all you need. And then you go to rinse it out. And when you rinse it out, I recommend that you still massage your scalp because that makes sure that you get everything out of your scalp area. You don't want to have any debris or any shampoo left behind because that can weigh your hair down and it can cause irritation and dryness. So you don't want any of that. So just make sure that you're really thoroughly rinsing out the shampoo once you're done. Number 4, let's talk about how to use conditioner. So shampoo was for your scalp, conditioner is for your ends. Conditioner is for the parts of your hair that your natural oils can't get to. So they kind of replace the job that the natural oils would normally perform on the ends of your hair. So what you're going to do that is basically just apply it through the skirt of your hair. And I think a lot of people have heard about doing that. Pretty easy. But what I do recommend doing in addition to that is taking whatever is left over on your hands after you've just kind of squeezed it through the skirt of your hair, is to take that through the pieces in the front, especially if you have short layers or side bangs or anything like that. The reason for that is that these areas get heat styled more than anywhere else on the hair and they get a lot more damage than anywhere else on the hair. Also, because a lot of us just kind of take our hair over to the back and apply the conditioner that way, they end up missing conditioner. So those areas end up extra damaged and extra frizzy, and because they're right around your face, when they're extra frizzy, it's extra annoying. So instead of doing any of that, basically you just want to take whatever's left over on your hands and just run it over those front pieces just to make sure they're getting that conditioner. Then once you have the conditioner in your hair, allow it to sit for the rest of your shower while you wash your body, your face, do whatever else you need to do. Even if it's not a deep conditioner, it only does good things to sit on your hair. It only helps your hair. And finally, when you go to rinse your conditioner, it always helps to use colder water because cold water helps to close your cuticle. So you will notice more shine and more softness in your hair if you use cold water to rinse your hair. Now, I can do that in the summertime, but again, in the wintertime, I make it to lukewarm. Number 5, towel drying your hair. A lot of times people think towel drying means that you have to take the towel and go like this. I think we've established by this point, this method on your hair is a bad idea. It's going to cause frizz, it's going to cause tangles, it's going to cause breakage. So instead, just take the towel and just squeeze your hair. That's all you need to do is just go through and squeeze your hair. Then a lot of us like to turban our hair so that we don't have water just running down our back. Completely understand that, but you do want to avoid doing that with a large towel. The reason for that is that they're very heavy. And because they're very heavy, they can actually cause a lot of strain on your front hairline. You can cause breakage because it's a little bit extra strain than this hair should have, but also because that strain would happen over and over again because you would do that every single shower, you could eventually end up actually balding a little bit toward the front hairline because of excessive stress on that area, which we don't want. There are also articles out there that talk about how normal towels are too abrasive for hair and that they can actually harm hair that way. So to avoid that, what I use is a turby towel, which is just a little microfiber towel that's meant to help turban your hair. So you could use that, you could use a normal microfiber towel, or you can even use a t-shirt and just use the neck hole around your hair and twist it up into a t-shirt. And that way you don't have to go out and buy anything else and you're not damaging your hair by using something that's too abrasive or too heavy. And finally, let's talk about what to do with your hair while it's wet, because honestly, whether we're supposed to or not, we're gonna brush through it while it's wet. I do it, I know better, whatever. So what you can do to keep your hair as healthy as possible while it's wet and you're brushing through it is first of all to use a detangler or a leave-in conditioner, because that's going to make your hair easier to brush through. It's going to make it snag less so it breaks less. Then you want to use a brush or a comb that is meant to be used on wet hair. There are a couple out there now and they're all fairly good. I've tried a couple different models. I love them. My favorite are the Tingle Teaser and the wet brush. I even use a wide tooth comb sometimes just to comb through my hair, just because they're much more gentle on your hair, so again, they're going to cause less breakage. And by doing that, you're going to make sure that you're causing as little breakage as possible while brushing through your hair while it's wet. So that's it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this and found this helpful. Like I said, we wash our hair almost every day, and so it matters the way that we do it because we don't want to be damaging our hair while we're washing it. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If I give you guys any good tips that you hadn't heard before, tell me about them in the comments. Or if you have a tip that I didn't mention, leave it in the comments as well. I would love to hear about it. And that is it, guys. I love you very much, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah. Bye.